When it comes to photography and video, lighting is incredibly important. But good lighting is usually really expensive. Until, well, now. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Colbor CL220R, by far one of the best budget video lights on the market. And I'm going to start right now. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell to stay in the loop and be notified when we release new videos. So just before we get started, as a disclaimer, I just want to say that Colbor did send me their CL220R as well as a 65-inch softbox to try out. But just like all my other videos, this is going to be a totally independent review. Now, when buying a video light, there's a few things that you guys need to take into consideration to make sure you buy the right light for your setup. Firstly, you need to think about the overall power output. So how bright is that light, and is it powerful enough for your setup? 2 is going to be the overall features. So is it single color, bi-color, or is it full RGB? 3 is going to be the overall build quality and portability. Is it well made, as well as can it fit in a small enough bag to take with you on every single shoot? And then lastly is going to be your power options. So do you have to plug it into a wall, or can you power it via battery power? So let's have a look at the overall light output first. Well, firstly, the CL220R is a 220 watt full RGB light that can produce up to 7,100 lux with no modifiers. But if you go ahead and use the hyper reflector that's included in the box, that will increase that to over 30,000 lux at 1 meter. Now, this is great for a wide range of different environments. Both my weddings, corporate work, as well as my YouTube studio, I'm filming around 20 to 25%, even when using a large softbox like the Aperture Dome 2. So if you're after a really powerful light, this has got you covered, as well as it's incredibly color accurate, which means you're gonna have less white balance problems in post-production, which is really helpful if you're filming a variety of different skin tones. Now, when it comes to features, this light is packed full of them. Firstly, it's full bi-color, which means it allows you to change the temperature value of your light from 2700 Kelvin, which is really warm, all the way up to 6500 Kelvin, which is quite cool, which means you can match it to the exact atmosphere that you want to shoot in. So either you can use this as your main light and change the temperature accordingly, or you can match it to pre-established light in a location, which is great, especially for me as a wedding filmmaker. Take this shot here, it is incredibly warm, all the lights around it are really warm, so I was able to match the Colbor light to match that atmosphere. So it looks like it always basically blends into your environment, which is really nice, especially when it comes to color grade. But not only is it bi-color, it's also full RGB, thanks to the RGB WW chip you've got built inside. Now, what this means is basically you've got millions of colors to choose from, and you can select it via your HSI, which is your hue, saturation, and intensity. So basically any color you want, this light can replicate it. Now, you've also got a ton of lighting effects as well. You've got around 14 with this light, which basically you can replicate different scenes and scenarios. Now, for me as a YouTuber and filmmaker, it's not something I'm really gonna do because I do a lot of corporate interviews and a lot of weddings, but maybe you're shooting a short film and you wanna replicate maybe police, or maybe thunder and lightning, a faulty bulb, or even if you wanted maybe a fire, you can replicate it with this light. You can change the temperature value, as well as you can change the intensity and speed via the back. You've also got an app, which I'm gonna get into. Now, the app basically allows you to control the light wirelessly, which is really nice and something that's incredibly handy, especially if you've got a light in a very difficult spot, or you've just got it on a really tall light stand. And basically you can control a whole variety of Colbor lights if that's what you've got, or if you've only got one, you can control that singular one as well. You can also control the color, intensity, and also effects directly from the app. So basically it's like a wireless remote with this light, but you get it for free if you've got yourself a phone. So if you're getting yourself this light, highly recommend downloading the app. I have found it incredibly helpful, and it just simply communicates via Bluetooth. Now, when it comes to build quality and portability, I think this light is incredibly well made. It's a full metal construction, although it does have a plastic light stand mount. It's also pretty small and lightweight as well, only coming in at 1.6 kilos or 3.52 pounds. And as you can see, it's a pretty small light. Now, on the side here, you've got 2 reverse NATO rails that allow you to attach different accessories, like for example, another light, or you can attach an external V-mount battery. Now, something I also really like about this light is it's a Bowings S-mount on the front, which basically means you can attach pretty much any light modifier on the market. Now, Colbor do a range. In fact, I'm actually using the 65-inch softbox at the moment from Colbor, but you've got a ton available on Amazon, as well as a whole range of other brands. You've got ones from Small Rig, and you've also got ones from Aperture. The one that I use for a lot of my corporate interviews, like this video here, is actually my Light Dome 2, which is a decent size because you can light a larger area. But if you're only lighting a studio or a tabletop like this, the 65-inch softbox is more than enough. But what's great is you've got a ton of light modifiers and accessories you can use with this light. So what do you get inside the box? Well, first up, you get this really nice padded mag, making it really easy to store, as well as making this light really portable because it's super easy to carry around. So we go ahead and open up the bag here. Got this little strap at the top here. We've also got these small little clips, just prevents in case their zipper ever goes or you don't fully zip it up, the light just simply won't fall out. So go ahead and open the bag here. You've obviously got the light itself, which is really nice. Again, this is really nice padded bag. Then you've got yourself a hyper reflector, and then right at the front here, you've got your AC to DC brick via XLR cable. And then because I'm in the UK, I've been supplied the UK power cable here. But as you can see, you get a decent amount inside the box, as well as a really nice bag. Now on the back of the light, you've got all of your lighting controls that allow you to change the light output, as well as color of your light. You've got 2 dials and 4 buttons. You've got your mode button that will allow you to cycle between RGB and bi-color, as well as you've got your effects button that will allow you to cycle through all 14 effects of this light. As well as you've got your rate button that will allow you to change the speed of those effects. As well as you've got a settings button that will allow you to connect to the app, as well as change the fan speed of the light. And then you've got the dials here that will allow you to custom change the power as well as color of that light, which is really handy. Plus, when you go ahead and activate it, it will show you a large interface on both the power as well as color or RGB value, which is really easy to see even from a far distance. But don't forget, you've got the app on your phone, which will allow you to wirelessly control this light from anywhere in the room. Now, when it comes to powering this light, you've got yourself 2 options. Option 1, and you get it inside the box, you've obviously got your AC power adapter. The cable itself is around 3 meters long, I think, easily long enough to shoot inside a studio or bring to a wedding or a corporate shoot. It's actually a really nice length. But if you're after super portability, then you can actually power this light via battery. Now, grant you don't get the stuff inside the box, but you can buy yourself a couple of accessories to attach a battery directly to the side of this light. So you'll need to buy yourself a reverse NATO rails to V-mount plate to hold the V-mount battery, a V-mount battery, and then a D-tap to XLR cable, which means you can now power this light directly via V-mount, which makes it incredibly portable and super handy if you're a run and gun filmmaker. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is a quick audio test to really see how loud this fan is, because that's something you definitely wanna bear in mind, especially if you're filming in a YouTube studio. How loud is the fan inside your light? Because it could have an effect over on your audio. Now, what's nice about this light is you've actually got 3 custom settings that you can change the fan speed. You've got smart, quiet, and performance, and you can choose depending on which one will work for you. Smart mode is the default mode inside this light, and basically it'll adjust it depending on how bright the light is, as well as how long you've had the light on for, as well as the temperature of the room. It will just simply adjust it for you. Next, you've got quiet mode, which is the mode that I recommend, especially if you're filming in a small studio like myself. And basically it will limit the fan to as low as possible, and it's basically inaudible from my tests, but it will limit the light output of the light to around about 50%. Then you've got performance mode, which is the mode to keep the light nice and cool. It really ramps up that fan noise speed, but something to bear in mind, you can have it on any power you like. You can have it all the way up to 100%. Okay, so let's quickly do an audio test. So what I'm gonna do is one on my table, and one on my light stand where my light normally is. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and turn the light on. I'm gonna do performance mode first. So I've turned it on performance mode. Can you hear this noise? So as you can see, it definitely is quite loud. I'll pop it next to the microphone. Performance mode is definitely quite loud. What I'm gonna do is test it on my light stand over in the far corner. Well, I can definitely hear it from here. I wonder if the microphone can pick it up. So that's basically worst case scenario, and I can definitely hear it. So let's go ahead and turn it onto quiet mode and see if that makes any difference. So when it's on quiet mode, especially in a studio like this, you can't really hear it. So if you are filming in a small studio, I do recommend turning it on quiet mode. But but if the light is actually getting quite hot, simply turn it on the performance mode. It really ramps up that fan to keep the light nice and cool. And there we go, guys. So there is my review of the Colbor CL220R, one of the best budget-orientated lights on the market with a ton of features. I don't know another light that offers this many features at this price point, especially a light of 220 watt, offering full RGB as well as bi-color. Great for corporate work, weddings, or even for your YouTube studio. Thank you to all of my YouTube members that are currently supporting the channel. If you want to support this channel and also get some awesome perks, including free Lightroom presets, make sure to go ahead to the link in the description. I've been James for Photo Fever, and I'll catch you guys next time.